Hi, welcome to the session on SAP product costing. Today we will try to understand about the master data object, the cost center. Okay, uh, as clearly as the name itself is indicating, a cost center is the smallest unit where you would like to independently track costs, book costs, right? Okay, book cost and then track the costs, and you can even settle these costs against a production order, against another cost center, okay, against another cost object. Cost center can be both a sender as well as a receiver. When I say a cost center is a sender, what I mean is that the cost can be initially recorded on a cost center and then can be charged to another cost object. On the other hand, a cost center can be a receiver. For example, you can book all your costs to an object called internal order, right? You collect all your costs to an internal order, then you can distribute it into various cost centers, right? So this is the SAP's definition, and unit of organization that represents a clearly defined location at which costs arise and for which costs are entered separately. It can be defined based on a functional requirement, allocation criteria, physical location, or a responsibility of for costs, right? And there is a field using which you can classify the cost centers, right? There are, once we go into the SAP, I will show you where you define that. Okay, but typically what I see is that, I mean, there is one way of grouping which I have seen, which seems a bit more logical. So whatever cost centers, wherever the cost centers, I mean costs are occurring, there will be various cost centers. For example, logistics, materials, administration, right? And many other things, like procurement. Materials are procurement. Let's say an accounting department, a HR department, or an IT center, or a canteen, a security. There can be many places which can be treated as a cost center where costs can be tracked separately, right? All these costs, okay, during the month end or during the process itself, okay, you can charge it to the production cost centers, right? You can charge it to production cost center through techniques called distribution and assessments, right? Now this production, post productions, whatever cost that you are incurring, let's say sales or marketing costs, let us say these are cost of sales, okay, freight outwards, okay, this may not represent your cost of goods manufactured, and you may not want it to be charged to your COGS, right? You want it to, this to be separate. But still, at some point of time when you calculate your margin, if you want to determine, there is another way where you can charge any expenses post your production, right? Typically the sales, marketing, freight outwards, service cost centers, right? Post sales, warranty related expenses, advertisements, royalty, whatever other costs that you have, you can charge it to separate GL accounts, and then you can take these expenses directly to the through COPA, profitability analysis, the margin analysis. You can track it on COPA and you can measure your profit. That is also one possibility. Alternatively, you already have a mechanism, okay, where you can bring these expenses in your P&L, okay, and you can check it. This is also a possibility exists. Now let us go into the SAP and see how we can create a cost center. Let me go here and let me quickly go to the easy access menu. Okay, here go to accounting, controlling, cost center accounting. Okay, there's a direct transaction code called KS01, cost element cost center. You see cost center, mandatory is that you have a cost center group, so you can create a cost center using KS01 function. So what I will do is, now that we have two plants, right, I will now create a cost center for the BB20 plant. Okay, so BB20 plant, I will create a cost center called BB20 GB 001, BB20 GB 0001. This is the cost center. Okay, let me go back. Sorry, it is not allowing. So let me KS01, KS slash and KS01. Okay, is a T code. BB20 GB 0001. I gave a validity from 1/1/2024, 31/12/449. The only thing that ensure that you are in your controlling area, set controlling area B100, which is fine. So you are in B100, so it's fine. So I now enter. Okay, so and now I give it a name, a cost center, BB20. Okay, here I will say decolorizing cost center. decolorizing. Okay, then cost center 001. Okay, who is the person responsible? Nilesh Dubey. Department cost center category, because I am creating it as a production cost center. Let's say I wanted to create as F. So this is the category I was talking about, marketing related category, etc. So say production. In production, I wanted to give the hierarchy. I'm not sure if I, yeah, see here BB20 underscore B. I have created a subgroup within the main standard hierarchy. So I'll make use of BB20 group, and we need to assign a profit center. So I will assign the profit center which is related to BB20, which we have created in our previous session, BB20 PC01. Okay. So I can create it here, BB20 PC01, say OK. And you can check the other fields also. It can be a revenue cost center also. Look what I have logged. I have logged out actual revenues and planned revenues, means this cost center is enabled to book actual primary cost, planned primary cost, actual secondary cost, and planned secondary cost. If you wanted to have a revenue based cost center, you will disable this and you can book revenues also. So this is a good feature. So you can have revenue based cost center also, and that cost center, anyhow you have seen how the cost center is linked to profit center, and then you get the profit center reports. So this is one way. Save and done. So this is one way of creating cost center. Now let us go and see the other way of creating cost center, which is let me show you. OKEON, there is another transaction code, cost center group. Let me see, it is not here. Activity type, collective processing. So let me go to collective processing. Do I have here? No. So let me find out if the T code, where is the part OKEON. I usually use OKEON because that is a better way of creating. Go to standard hierarchy, OKEON. Okay. Now in BB20, you recollect I have made one cost center. So now I will copy this, or I can create it manually. You can click on the button here, create cost center, and create it. Or you can click on this BB20 and say copy as, and then I will just give the name BB20 GB 0002, okay, as the cost center. Okay, I will say instead of decolorizing, I will say this oxidization. I will now say this is oxidization. Oxidization cost center. Oxidization cost center 002. And who is the budget manager for this? The person responsible for any cost. He is responsible to track all the costs. Miss Parvati Tirupati. Okay, this is also a production cost center. So I'll say this is a production cost center, and I will assign it to the same profit center. So multiple cost center can be mapped to the same profit center. Here I have profit center. I'll just click save. Okay, I'll click save. So using both of these, see it got activated now. It is ready to use. If you go and look at the basic data now, it is turned active. Once you click save, it is, and you can easily regroup it. For example, BB20 GB 0002, if I want to group it under A, I can just drag it and drop it. This way you can create it. Now I want to rearrange the order, I'll just push it down. So this way here, so now the moment you make any changes, it goes to red. Again you click on save, it will become green. This way you can create cost centers and make it for use. Okay. So I hope you understood. Cost centers are very essential for our product costing purposes, because that is the smallest unit where you book any cost, right? So very important. So I hope you have understood it. So uh, in our entire our training, we will be covering all of these topics. Again, our training is divided into two different offerings. The first level is foundational level. The second level is expert level. So those who are interested, we would suggest that you start with foundational. Once you are comfortable with foundational, you can graduate to expert level. Again, both of these are different offerings, and you can subscribe to both of them individually. Thank you very much. Happy practicing.